Today's lesson is on 11.3, circles and circumference. Circumference is going to be the first word we're going to define today, and that is the perimeter of a circle. So it is the distance around the circle. So, looking in this drawing down here, circumference of a circle. The circumference C of a circle is equal to its diameter D times pi, or 2 times its radius, r, times pi. So diameter is going to be this middle piece all the way across and has to go through the center, times pi, which is 3.14 for short, is what we'll use. So 3.14 times the diameter will equal the circumference of all the way around the circle once. And a little phrase to help us remember is twinkle, twinkle, little star. Circumference equals 2 pi r. So, this first problem, we're finding the circumference of each circle using 3.14 or 22/7 for pi, round to the nearest tenth. So right now we're going to mainly use 3.14. Don't worry about 22/7. We will touch on that later in the video. So if the diameter is 10, there's one other piece we need to know. How do we find the radius? Going back to our first slide, we see that the radius is from the center of the circle to any point on the outside. Diameter is from 2 points on the outside of the circle traveling through the center. So 2 of the radius make up 1 diameter. So 2 times the radius equals 1 diameter. So if we want to solve for radius and we have diameter, we have to divide by 2. Divide both sides by 2, then we'll have radius equals half of the diameter. So if diameter equals 10, we divide both sides by 2 to get 5. So we have just found the radius equal to 5. So we fill 5 in up here. Now, circumference is twinkle, twinkle, little star. Circumference equals 2 pi r. Or, in this situation, we could have just used circumference equals pi times diameter as well. It's good to know the relationship between diameter and radius, however. So you see here we have 1 diameter in comparison to the 2 radius. We don't have a memorization phrase for the pi times diameter, so we're just going to plug it in. 3.14 times 10 equals 31.4, and then we have to remember our label is inches. Circumference is inches, right? Because we don't have square inches, we're just finding the distance around. Next, we have radius is 8.4 inches. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Circumference equals 2 pi r. So, if we have circumference equals 2 pi r, let's plug in what we know. 2 times 3.14 times 8.4. Then on our calculator, plug it in. 2 times 3.14 times 8.4. You get 52.725. So, 52.725. However, it does ask up top that we round to the nearest tenth. So tenth means we have to look at our hundredth. 2, it means we're going to round down. So we stay at 52.7, and again we're at inches. Next we move on to, again, we have diameter of 22 miles. So if diameter equals 22 miles, let's use circumference equals pi times diameter. Make it easy on ourselves. Plug in what we know. 3.14 is pi. Diameter is 22. 22 times 3.14, again on our calculators. I get 69.08. Does say to still round to our nearest tenth from the last problem, so we'll keep rounding. So we do a round up there because 0.8 is greater than 5, greater than or equal to 5, so we have 69.1 miles. Next we have radius equals 7.8 millimeters. And again, circumference equals 2 pi r. Twinkle, twinkle, little star helps us remember that. So 2 times 3.14 times 7.8 So we don't want to be using our pi button on our calculator because it's going to give us a little bit of a wrong answer. 48.984. It's going to get us a more exact answer. However, when the instructions say use 3.14 for pi, we want to follow the instructions. Again, rounding to the nearest tenth, 0.8 is going to round up. So this is an important one. When we round up, we add 1. So there it's going to become a 0. Carry the 1 again there. 8 plus 1 is 9. And I have 49.0 millimeters. And that's how we want to list it when we round. We have to make sure we keep that 0 there because that shows that we rounded. If we just wrote 49, that would say that we got exactly 49 as our answer, when we didn't. We got 48.98 and we rounded up to 49. Next, we're giving a display here, and we're going to have to find the circumference of each circle. In this situation, we're going to explain why would we use 22/7. So plugging in 22/7 on a calculator, 22 divided by 7, I get 3.1428. So that's really close to pi. It's just it varies in our thousandths position. So this is close enough to pi where we can use it, but we mainly want to use it when we're going to have a multiple of 7 for our diameter or our radius. In both these next two problems, we are actually going to take advantage of that. So, in our first example, we have to look and realize that 14 meters here is what? Well, that's our diameter because we're going all the way across the circle. The radius is only going to go halfway, so just peeking at the next problem, 63 is actually going to be our radius. So, diameter, we have circumference equals pi times diameter. So let's fill in what we know. This time let's fill in 22/7 because 14 is a multiple of 7. So 22/7 times 14, and we're going to simplify before we multiply. Dividing both the top and bottom by 7, 7 will become 1, 14 will become 2, 22 times 2 will give us 44. Now let's quick and try out 3.14 times 14, and let's see what that would have given us. We would have gotten 43.96, which we would have ended up rounding to 44. That would have ended up rounding to 44.0. So this is still an acceptable answer. We do need our label of meters. Next, on to 63. So we have radius equals 63. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Circumference equals 2 pi r. So let's plug that in. We've got 2 times 22/7 times 63. Divisible by 7, so we can cancel. And I've got 2 times 22 times 9. 2 times 22 gives me 44. 44 times 9 is going to get me 360 plus 36 is 396 inches is my circumference. Moving on. Find the circumference of each circle. Notice we'll take a peek. Is 9 a multiple of 7? No, so we're not going to use 22/7 on that one. How about 24? Is that a multiple of 7? 7, 14, 21. Nope, not going to use 22/7 on this whole slide. So, circumference equals, over here this covers only part of it, so that's going to be our radius. So we're going to want to use 2 pi r. So 2 times 3.14 times 9. To make this a little bit easier, we can actually multiply 2 times 9 first to get 18 times 3.14, and then I'll use my calculator. I get 56.52. Rounding to the nearest tenth, we're going to round down to 56.5 kilometers. Last problem is 24 feet. Notice that it goes all the way across, so this one is then identified as our diameter. So circumference is going to be pi times diameter. So we're going to fill in what we know with 3.14 times 24. We'll use our calculator one last time. 3.14 times 24. I get 75.36. Take the 6 is greater than or equal to 5, so we round up to 75.4 feet. So feel free to check out any of the peer tutor videos as well that go over the example. Otherwise, test yourself out on the personal quizzes.